Continuing our entry from June the 4th, part 2. So one extra bit I wanted to add is the Reader's Digest format is a good one, and I like the human interest they use in Reader's Digest. The versatility, or I should say the variety of the writing is of interest, and it's something I seek to emulate because Reader's Digest appeals to a large spectrum of people of different age groups, and there's something homey and classic about Reader's Digest. And there is the aspect where you can get your articles published by different people out there online and off. Recently we were considering the idea of Hollywood. I formally sort of done away with going to the HMV store, which I seem to walk in there habitually to just look at the actual covers of the CDs and DVDs. This is the only reason I go there, because I never buy anything. And it's almost like something I do habitually. And when I do buy music, it's, you know, seldom do I buy music from the place. And I've realised that I rarely go to the movies. So and another key thing I realised is that Hollywood films predominantly showcase white people in suits who've done admin courses, if you like, with fancy charts printed off printers in New York. And I mean, that's not that exciting for me. And you know, there are Asian folks who wear suits, but we don't see enough of them represented in films in Hollywood. And there's a substantial proportion of people in Queens, New York, which is a very diverse place, in which I have Asian you know, my family are Asian, and there is a lot of Asian people in Queens, just as there are a lot of Asian people here in East London. So it's quite puzzling that Asian people are seldom showcased in Hollywood cinema. Obviously there are other kinds of cinema out there which is broadly labelled world cinema, but I don't think the section in HMV does this very vast field of world cinema justice, because world cinema encompasses basically the world. So there are many countries and many cultures that are enriching, inspiring, I'm sure, that we haven't yet explored, which don't follow the standardized formulaic Hollywood films we see reeled out time after time. The formulaic violence, or the you know, the dirty work of espionage and criminal work, which are sort of put on a pedestal, if you like, which is obviously not the slickest thing you could do, given that it's just plain immoral and a bit short-sighted. to be specific. So world cinema is something that's of interest, and alternative cinema is something of interest to me at this time. I don't find myself needing to watch cinema, on the other hand, because I believe that each person is a media entity. We can create our own dreams, and we can create our own visuals if we're able, if we just take time to dream about the things that we want to, and then we can put pen to paper, we can imaginate a scene, and we can create the films that we want to see, or we can create the image for the clothes we wear. These are not necessarily predetermined by any outside forces if we don't want to. Now, you might want to be part of some collective, or you may find a designer's style and his outlook and the subtextual messages of his kind of brand, you might agree with that, and there are great sort of brands out there. But I'm interested in first and foremost having my own vision, and having my own vision involves pulling back somewhat and rebranding, if you like, my own self. And I don't need to read a whole load of literature anymore, because I've done that in the past, and I've read lots, of books in my time. But there's obviously lots more to read. But you can essentially design your own life. And I was walking through HMV and I found that I no longer have a reason to go there anymore as well. I figured that I don't need CDs, and iTunes is my sole entity for the purchasing of music, and should I ever want to, videos and documentaries if I'd like. So what I think is that iTunes on my laptop, which can be then transferred to my iPod, is all I need, and it's all on my laptop. It's all part of my internet connection on my dongle, or the internet connection I have at home. So as I see it, there's no need to collect any external media, for example mediums, CDs, DVDs, etc., when these can be downloaded from the iTunes store. So that's the essence of the point I want to make, is that iTunes on my laptop, my own media self entity, can replace this thing called Hollywood, which is some person's dream that is nothing to do with me, especially these days. But just like everyone else, I do enjoy the odd film or two, and there's some memorable films from the past that I sort of fondly remember. But I feel that it's overly Americanized, and I don't feel America is at the forefront of culture so much in certain regards. I think it's old world models of gangsterish violence, it's old world models of immoral behaviour, and it's old world standards of the macho male. It's not something that sits comfortably anymore in not just my mind but a lot of people's minds. And now a lot of people they've not been able to adjust to this fact. Although they do feel it, they're not able to articulate it, but this is in fact what it is. Now, you know, not everyone's going to agree with me, so that's fine. So I find myself becoming interested in things outside of the American psyche. Although the America is sort of the hub in many ways of a lot of people's culture, I don't believe it's everyone's. I don't think everyone is obliged to participate in that culture, and they can dip into it as they please, but I don't think there's anything inherently wrong in sort of taking a step back from that Hollywood culture. So I got a music project which I call Castlewood. And for me, that, I don't know, somehow it helps me establish my own umbrella of different things, my own identity. And I think we're at a stage where we can redefine ourselves anew on new basis, and throw away things that no longer serve us or work for us or feel owned, and incorporate things that we now like to do. I do crave the tribal, non-American aspects. There's a whole sort of there's many indigenous tribes who have practices, and they also have herbs and things which can be used in various ways. And the good thing about them is they can be found in the Amazon, which is like Mother Nature in abundance, and what can be found in there is free of sort of preservatives and God knows what else that we find in our food, in our lotions, skincare, hair care, body lotions, deodorants, moisturizers, hairsprays, whatever. So that's it, yeah.